Hi everybody and welcome to EU TalentOn TV. I am very lucky to have with me here a very special guest, Annika Otto. Welcome, Annika. Annika is the president of Leiden University Executive Board and also the supervisory board of Plant. So yes, again, welcome. First of all, I have a few questions for you. How does it feel to have an event like EU TalentOn both in Leiden and also at Plant?
Well, of course, it's a unique opportunity to see how many talents we have throughout Europe. And of course, we are very proud as European City of Science and of course Leiden City to see this first ever EU TalentOn. So we are very pleased to meet all those young scientists and see what they're going to come up with.
Yeah, it's great to have them all coming together here at Leiden. And our participants are going to be trying to solve problems that are related to 5 different missions that we have. Is there a mission area that you are most curious about that our participants will be tackling today and tomorrow?
Well, that's an easy answer for me personally, because climate change, I think, is one of the biggest challenges, together with many others, of course, we have at the moment. And there's so much knowledge and innovation taking place, and I think hopefully we can bring that all together in those days and see how the young scientists come up with solutions. So yes, that's my personal favorite. Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, then moving on from that, so we talked about bringing scientists, young scientists together here, talent from all over the world, sharing, collaborating, sharing ideas and working towards fixing societal issues. Why does this sort of format of collaboration and this hackathon sort of format work for these sort of event, for these sort of trying to fix these problems, in your opinion?
Well, we're actually here at the moment at Plant, our entrepreneurial location, together with all our partners here in the city Leiden. And we're creating an atmosphere where young people can really try to find sort of entrepreneurship skills or working in teams together, and not only from their own expertise, but building expertise throughout different disciplinary skills. And I think we learn them, then bringing that together will really find solutions for more complex problems than just from one perspective. So I think that's what we also learned this morning. And we really hope that we can bring this vibrant atmosphere from Plant also to those young European scientists. Yes.
Great, and before you go, I'd like to just ask you, is there anything you'd like to say to our participants to help them on their journey over the next few days?
I would say just dive into it and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Annika, for joining us.
Okay, thank
you. Hi everybody, welcome back to TalentOn TV. I have another participant with me. This is Alice. Hello Alice.
Hi, everybody.
I'm very happy to have you here. So Alice is working on the mission Climate Neutral and Smart Cities. So Alice, if you wouldn't mind, could you please introduce yourself for us?
Of course. Well, I am. My background is that I'm a computer science engineer, and I come from Italy, from the city of Brescia and Verona. And actually, I have also a PhD in mathematics, and I work as a contract professor and postdoc at the University of Verona. And my field of research is operations research at the intersection of mathematics, computer science, but also logistics, economics, and a lot of other fields.
So really interdisciplinary almost in your own work. Wow.
Exactly.
And so you're working, as I said, on the climate neutral and smart cities. So I wanted to know what made you interested in this area?
Okay. In operations research, there are a lot of direction related to optimizing problems in the city. For example, vehicle routing problems with electric vehicles or managing routing and scheduling in cities. So I was curious to find other problems related to cities, because I think that since 70% of the pollution comes from the citizens, there is space for other problems to be tackled and studied from an optimization point of view. Okay. So that's why I applied for that.
Great. And then how are you bringing your own background research and your knowledge in your field to your group to combat the problems that you're tackling in this TalentOn?
What we usually do in my research field is that we identify a problem and then we model it by means of mathematical formulation. Okay. So we define an objective function that we would like to minimize or maximize something, and we represent constraints, actual constraints, by means of linear inequalities. Or so you identify some variables that represent your decisions that you would like to compute, some optimal decision to take according to the function. So what I'm trying to do here is to how to represent, to model the problem we are trying to tackle in an analytic way, and also by finding some algorithm to apply.
Okay, brilliant, great. And just finally to end, I know that you also coordinate a book club.
Yes.
So I wanted to know if you have any good recommendations for books for our participants.
Oh, well, I have one title in mind that it fits really well with the themes. That is Invisible Cities by Italo Calvino, an Italian writer of the last century. And it just describes several imaginary and fictional cities from several points of view. Wow. And it has a lot of interpretations from research side, but also from environment. So I think it could be a nice reading for all of you. Yeah,
great. It actually sounds like almost a book that contains kind of what's going on here, almost in lots of different perspectives.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for talking today. Really great talking to you, and I wish you the best of luck with the rest of the project.
Thank you. We will try to do our best.
Yeah. All right, we'll have another interview in a few moments. Stay with us.
challenging as well because it's tough questions that we're trying to solve, and we all have different expertise, different opinions, so finding consensus is hard sometimes.
Very good. And you do the exact same thing, but when you're talking, you try to look through the camera and not look around. And when you're done, you keep looking at the camera for like 1 second.
Again,
Yeah, the exact same thing.
TalentOn is a super stimulating experience.
That's awesome. That was pretty good. And one more thing, if you could say a sentence, I put my talent on LinkedIn. Yeah.
I put my talent on creation.
Perfect. That was great. Thank you. Thank you so much. C'était bien. C'était les réponses plus claires, plus précises. Très bien. Voilà, on va aller faire la même chose dans toutes les salles. On va changer de position, on va se mettre et on peut faire plus tranquille. Plus fun. Voilà. Bah ici, par contre, ça donne bien. All right. On peut aller de l'autre côté, ça reste en haut et puis après.
And we're back with another participant. We are with Fotini. I got it there. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks a lot for hosting.
We're very happy to have you here, and I hope you're enjoying your time so far.
A lot.
Great. So Fotini is working on the mission Soil Deal for Europe. So if you wouldn't mind maybe introducing yourself a little bit more, telling us a bit about you.
Yes. So I'm Fotini. I am coming from Malta. I am a lecturer at the University of Malta, but I am Greek. Okay. My nationality is Greek. So I studied in Athens, in the Agricultural University of Athens, food science and technology. And then I continued my studies. I did a PhD focused in food microbiology.
Yes.
Okay.
Brilliant.
I'm 32 years old. I am a young scientist as well. I'm very interested in research, in anything that has to do with food microbiology.
Yep.
My main focus is the use of probiotics in fermented foods.
Brilliant.
Okay. These are good bacteria
Yes.
that help us a lot, and they can have many applications. So that's it about me.
Great, thank you. So yeah, we're focusing on, of course, your mission is soil. We want to do
Yes.
soil. And so looking at it from maybe more of a food industry standpoint, what are the biggest challenges facing the food industry and agriculture with soil, with the soil issues with soil?
So as you said, for a food scientist, the soil is the basis. Around 95% of the foods are directly coming from the soil. So having a healthy soil for food production is very important. It's very important also because the population is growing, so we need to find ways and utilize our soils to the best that we can in order to provide food for everyone.
Yes, yep.
So having problems with soils obviously will affect directly food production.
Of course. And then looking actually maybe at the other mission areas as well, I suppose with climate change, it also connects with soil,
Yes.
but and then also water. Is there any other big challenge that you can think of when you think about on food? What is the major one other than soil?
Well, climate change is also very well related.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we are experiencing nowadays big changes.
Yeah.
We have droughts, we have severe floods, which obviously have an impact on food production.
Yes.
Production goes down. We have also invasive species that come because of these changes in the environment. So it's quite complex.
Yes.
And we need to find solutions.
We do indeed, and that's why we're here, hopefully.
Exactly.
And then going back more on a personal level, I know that you recently had a baby. You have a 5-month-old at home.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, well, congratulations.
Thanks
very
a lot.
nice.
Thanks a
and we are
lot.
very happy that you're also here as well.
It was a challenge.
Yeah,
here.
another one to solve. But I suppose then looking just to the future, you have a little one now. What are you hoping for the future to look like? Specifically, I suppose, how the food industry is going to change for the better for our planet, for the next generation?
It's very important to find sustainable ways in order to be sure that we will provide good food, healthy food, and nutritious food to the future generations. So, and also the changing planet, the climate change, and all these obviously are very concerning. And I wish that we can find solutions to give a better planet to our kids.
Yes, yeah. Great, that's really nice. And thank you again. This is all
Thanks
the
a
questions
lot.
I have, but thank you for talking to us. And I wish you the best.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. We'll be back soon with another interview. And welcome back. I have two more exciting interviews. First, we are going to be speaking to Julius.
Hi.
Hi, Julius. Thank you for joining me today. So, Julius is working on the mission Climate Neutral and Smart Cities.
Exactly.
Exactly. Julius, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. I'm 27. Currently doing my master in technical chemistry, where I focus on sustainability and environmental technology. Very focused on waste. I'm really interested in waste technology, waste management, recycling.
Yeah, because I have a lovely line here, and from the thing that waste is Julius's passion.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, is this something that what made you interested in focusing your work in waste management?
I just think that there are a lot of resources. Like waste is just resource in the wrong place, and there is so much that we have to actually get out of it. Because when we like keep doing it in this linear economy style that we are used to for the last decades or centuries, that we keep losing resources, and we need to transform our economy into a circular one, and gather all the nutrients and all the resources back out of the waste.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice actually quote that you just said, that resources are. They're just the resources but in the wrong place, you know, that's what waste is. And something I actually hadn't really thought about. So yeah, thank you for that nice quote.
You're welcome.
And then also I'd like to get into a little bit that you are very much involved in political activism, and you have formed your own queer political platform. So if you could explain a little bit more about that, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. I've been politically active for some years now in a socialist youth organization, also like locally, nationally, but also in a global youth organization. So in the International Union of Socialist Youth, it's a global umbrella organization for socialist youth organizations, where I'm also responsible for the queer working group there. So I'm also working in like global contexts of queer politics and education. And 2 years ago, I built up a queer, like a platform, an online platform to support queer and trans people to go to doctors and therapists, and to lower the barriers and the thresholds in order for them to make the health system more accessible. Yeah,
that's really brilliant. Well done in this, I must say. And I think, very, very interested also to know then, I suppose you must have then a huge network, and how do you ever mix your political and your then work with waste as well? Would that ever mix these two sides? Or
I think there are definitely aspects that can be mixed, and I think that's what really important for us here as scientists, but as engineers as well, is to always keep this social and inclusive aspects in mind, and to not design solutions that will work for the white man that is like has money, but to really keep also minorities in our minds, and to design solutions that are maybe in participative approaches to really gather all the communities that could profit from the solutions, and to have a holistic view also on the users and on the people who could benefit.
Really nice. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts, and I really hope you enjoy the rest of your time here.
Yeah, I think it's really cool so far. So.
Oh, good to hear. Good to hear. All right, thank you so much. And next, I'd like to welcome Julia. So Julia, hi Julia. Thank you for joining as well. So Julia is working on the mission Cancer.
Yes, I'm from Vienna, and I am doing a PhD there in chemistry, and I'm specifically working in the field of nuclear medicine there at the Medical University of Vienna.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I know for yourself that you're interested in multidisciplinary work. And so, of course, here it's a huge thing that we're working on. But what do you think is the importance of interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary work within science, and then mixing that through society?
I think ideas can go much further, and it's really, really important to have all these different ideas from different parts, from different scientific fields. Of course, it's not always easy, because the scientific language is often also not the same. But all these bright minds, as we tend to say here, need to be connected actually to thrive further and to get the ideas where they need to be.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice comment, that to be connected, to get these ideas moving and to move forward, because it's here we're trying to work as, I suppose, like an incubation center for new ideas, to push the boundaries, and new perspectives are always very important. And is there something that you personally would really like to gain from this experience, other than just the multidisciplinary? Is there anything else?
I think the insights into different fields are always great. So you get so much more experience. You learn about the scientific language of the other people. And also, what I think is here very interesting, because we're from all over Europe, you also get to know other cultures. So that's very interesting.
Really nice.
Yes.
And something, let's talk a little bit about you yourself. What are your hobbies? Do you have anything that you like to do outside of science?
Yes, actually, I'm a yoga teacher.
Oh, brilliant! Brilliant. Very nice.
Maybe sounds funny.
Yeah, and I'd say that's a great way to maybe manage the stress of doing your work as well, PhD.
Totally. So mindfulness and relaxation is very important, also for scientists.
Yes,
and
definitely.
There, yoga can really help.
Yeah. I think it's really great to have to kind of explore as well and also it helps with the multidisciplinary thing, because hobbies also allow us to kind of explore new perspectives and
to connect.
Exactly. Well, that's all my questions for you, but thank you so much for your time. It was really great talking to you. And we'll be back soon with a few more interviews. So I'd like to thank also everybody already who's taken part, and I look forward to speaking to many more of you.
Thanks.
I think the EU has makes databases and makes advices, but they're very poor in executing and implementing it. And that's sort of where we act.
Ouais, c'est ça, dans le tract.
C'est mis comme ça, on s'en fout du. Personne ne regarde. Tu peux me faire une du bourse?
Ah, on peut s'asseoir sur les escaliers.
Ça peut être super.
Bon, allez, vas-y, dis-moi.
Moi c'est bon.
Ça tourne?
Ouais. Tu veux en chercher une?
On peut faire une balance?
Ah, bon, c'est pas grave.
Tout le monde se casse.
Ouais, mais c'est bon, tu peux acheter une.
Tellement long, tout le monde se
Mais non,
casse.
c'est bon, ça tourne. Moi, j'ai pas besoin de faire de blanc.
Il y a quelqu'un qui t'inspire? Oui. Oui, oui. C'est?
C'est avec son casque et son casque à la tu rends tes cheveux avec son casque bleu là, tu vois? On va expliquer ça. Après, tu fais ton choix. Hein.
Mets tout ton éclairage à tout.
C'est bon, je suis prêt. Moi, j'attends tant que le gagnant, je travaille. Hein. Ça tourne. Hein.
TalentOn is great.
Oh, c'est beau, dit.
Ouais, mais ils sont pas tous aussi beaux que moi.
Toi, tu vas te mettre juste là.
Garde ça en tête.
Toi, tu vas te mettre là. Je suis prêt.
Je me lave?
Ouais, tu mets là.
Ok.
Essaye d'en choisir une de la même taille que toi.
Ouais, il faudrait un mec en fait alors.
Ah bah, le gars avec sa petite barbe, avec son gros petit sourire et sa moustache Dash People.
He's ignoring nature.
Si, c'est lui qu'il faut.
C'est lui. C'est l'élu. C'est l'élu.
Il a pas envie d'un an.
He's not a participant.
Donc, en fait, il encadre le truc, c'est pas. Voilà.
No worries.
So you'll be standing here. And I'll ask you a couple of questions. You'll be just looking at me and answering the questions. It's going to be pretty easy. I'll just stand over there.
Steven, you have to stand up just in front of the camera like me.
So just stand there.
Stand up, yes, just. Body, yes. Fantastic.
And try to not look at the camera at all.
Not at the camera, but look at you.
Just look at me
Yeah.
and answer to me.
Okay.
Everything will be fine.
Can you show me your.
Yeah, we'll just take your badge first so we know your name.
Yeah, do you want?
No, it's okay.
No, that's good. That's good. Thank you.
Voilà.
Tom, how is your experience at TalentOn so far?
Yes, so far it's been a really great experience. It's been very challenging trying to develop problems, well not trying to develop problems, there are obviously massive problems, but trying to develop solutions to these problems, working in a team with very different perspectives in a multidisciplinary environment with colleagues or teammates who don't necessarily share the same perspectives has been really interesting, really eye-opening, and a very fun experience.
What's your goal at the end of these 4 days?
Yeah, at the end of these 4 days, I really hope, yeah, so there's, I came here with several goals. Obviously the first and major goal is that there'll be loads of really nice, really interesting, novel, innovative solutions, not just from my team, but from all teams, right? These problems need to be solved but also to grow as an individual, to learn a bit more about these problems and about how to tackle these problems in a multidisciplinary manner.
What do you think the EU can do to boost innovation?
Yeah, so
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're all really enjoying the EU TalentOn so far. I have 3 more participants to get to know, so let's get started. First, we have Bibiana. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi, thank you for joining me today. So Bibiana is working in the mission of cancer. Yeah.
That's right.
And if you wouldn't mind just maybe introducing yourself a little bit and what you do.
Okay, my name is Viviana. I'm originally from Colombia, but I'm based in Berlin, and I have a background in nursing. I did a master's in international health, and right now I'm working as a clinical research nurse in the area of experimental neurology.
Perfect, brilliant. And is your work is it related to cancer in any ways?
Not directly, but I'm working with the pharmaceutical company, so
Nice.
that's a big. It's really important for cancer treatment.
Of course. And I would like to focus mainly a little bit on your group and what you guys are working on. Could you give me a little overview of what you're working on, what problems you're trying to solve, and how you're trying to solve them?
Well, we are trying to focus on the prevention and early detection of cancer and how to improve the health literacy, so the health education of young people, so they can work on preventing cancer and to have more awareness of the possibility of having cancer and how to prevent it.
Yeah, and that topic you just said, health literacy, it's super important. I think a lot of us always have. It's very common for people to have issues with just not understanding something. So that's really great area to look into, I think. And also then focusing a little bit on this, that area of health literacy and maybe also communicating ideas with the public. You like to design visual content and graphs and things. So what are the most important aspects of design that allow you to share what you're working on and to share science and also other topics with the public when it comes to designing graphs and visual aids?
I think it's important to focus on the population that you want to achieve, like what you want to communicate and to which population. And in this case, we want to address young people, so we would like to do it with a lot of colors. We are thinking about doing using some digital tools, maybe a game or something online that would kind of keep them interested on the topic, but also using really plain language that they can really understand and not so medical terms that is mostly the case, and keeping it simple but interesting for the young people.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. Keep it exciting but simple, not too complicated.
Yeah.
And then finally, I'd like to ask about your hobbies. Do you have anything that you like to do?
Yeah, my hobby is running.
Brilliant. Great.
Yeah. I just ran the Berlin City Night last month, and now I'm training with a group for the Great 10K in Berlin the 16th of October. So I'm really focused in my objective right now.
Yeah, well, good luck with it. I wish you the best for that, and then also for the entire weekend. Thank you very much for sharing.
To you.
And it was great talking to you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So next then we have Andrea. Welcome, Andrea. Thank you very much for joining me as well. So you're also working on the mission of Cancer too.
I am, yes.
And before we go into that, would you mind giving me a bit of an overview of who you are? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am Andrea. I have a background in biochemistry and I'm specialized in biotechnology. I was born in Venezuela, but I was raised in Spain and I live in Germany now, so quite an international background.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant, brilliant. And something there that I'd really like to talk to you about is I know that you do a bit of science communication.
I do.
Particularly that you have your own company and an Instagram called DN Andrea.
That's exactly what it's called.
Great.
Yes.
Could you go into a little bit more about your work in science communication?
So what my mission is to try to make science cooler, so to say. As I was starting to study biochemistry, I realized there's so many interesting things about our bodies, about cells, about genetics that, why did it take me so long to find out? I think there are certain things that everybody should know. But there's this certain stigma about science. As soon as people hear the word, they already don't want to know more because they have this image of it being super hard and complicated. So I think social media is a great tool to help us scientists show that it's not that hard and it can be super, super interesting.
Yes, yeah, most definitely. And also because I think you said about, that you have an Instagram account. What other projects, how else do you kind of communicate science? Is it mainly through Instagram? Is there other things?
I would say it's mainly YouTube, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel. It's a great tool, obviously, for communicating and explaining a little bit more in detail. Instagram is good for capturing people's attention, creating a sort of community. But I also do TikTok because it's like, you know,
it's the new thing.
It's the new
exactly.
thing.
It's the way to reach everybody.
Exactly. So that's definitely part of the work too, trying to figure out how the algorithm works and how to put content out there that people will be interested in, or how to capture people's attentions without losing the quality of the information you're giving, right?
Which is so important, exactly.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, because of course now we just scroll, so you want to captivate them, but also go a bit further than that. And also that then leads to my next question regarding when we communicate science or other topics related to sustainability or lots of other things like this. It's also important to think about how we can provide people with tools or ways to maybe empower them to move forward with this interest that is kind of being built. So do you have any maybe how we do this, or anything that you've even learned, or maybe challenges that you've even noticed, that how do you go further than the just disseminating information? How do we go further than this?
Well, honestly, I think as scientists, at least, we're led to believe that science and creativity and being out there are not compatible. We're led to believe that as scientists, we need to be, you know, in the lab, doing our research, minding our own business. And I think the two things can merge pretty well. So something I've learned is there are exciting opportunities out there like this one. Like the talks we've been having here at this event make me think, wow, there's a lot of people out there going out of their ways to make this world a better place. So I think once you get in the dynamic or going out of your comfort zone, it's easier. But I would encourage people to try it first, like the first event they join, for example, or the first YouTube channel they open, or social media account they start to do. It's gonna be hard at first, and you're gonna get like imposter syndrome vibes. Like, what am I doing? Will people even listen to me? Why would I even apply to the EU TalentOn? There's so many brilliant minds out there. But I think I would encourage people to give it a try. You have nothing to lose and a lot to gain. So yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really, really nice way to end. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really lovely talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks. And then finally we have Jana.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you as well for joining us.
No worries.
So Jana, you are working on the mission for the soil deal.
Yes, I am.
Great. And could you go into a little bit of, tell us a little bit more about yourself?
All right. So I'm Jana. I'm living in Belgium. And I actually got my degree in just general biology. So I did my undergrad and my master's degree in Ghent. And then it happened somewhere in my thesis year that my project was not really bio in the strict sense of the word. Wasn't really going that way anymore, but it sort of bent off a bit more to the biomedical left field of biology in general, I think. And then suddenly my PI was interested for me to stay there and to do my PhD, and I was like, oh, what's happening? I'm not a biomedical scientist. I don't know anything about this, but here I am doing my PhD now in a completely different field.
And how is that experience? How is it changing a little bit and maybe having to adapt to new things?
Yeah, so I think it started with like great excitement, because I was like, wow, how cool is this that me, out of all these biomedical scientists, was chosen for a project like this. But then quite immediately afterwards, I was like, oh, I actually have a big problem, because I don't know anything about this subject. So I had to work, I think, much harder than another PhD student that started next to me into that field. But and I think the word imposter syndrome also already was here in the last interview. And I think I was at least suffering quite hard of it. But bit by bit, you get more confidence and you get more appreciation also from your colleagues that this is actually okay. It's actually okay that you're here and you're fit in the group, and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. That we've all actually all experienced at some point is this idea of imposter syndrome. But I think really, as you said, talking to people and discussing it, and we should all take the opportunities that we can, and I know it's hard to say, believe in yourself, but you know,
yeah,
it
that's
is
really
talking
hard sometimes.
to people.
Yeah,
and these collaborations, working in teams, it really builds you up and shows that you do deserve to be here, like everybody else.
yeah, and this friendship between scientists also make you realize that actually everyone has a bit of it.
Exactly, we're all in the same boat,
no
right?
one is as confident as they actually seem. So
exactly. Yeah, so then I'd like to move on to the format. So of course we kind of, the format of, we just talked about the importance of working in groups and talking to peers, and maybe when you're changing disciplines, it's good to talk to people who are from that discipline and have this two-way talk. So how are you finding working on a project that actually is quite different again for you, soil, but working with people from different backgrounds to come up with solutions?
yeah, exactly. So I think I've now been in two fields where I'm like a general know a bit about it, but not really I'm the expert in. And during my PhD, and I think all PhDs have this feeling of working alone is not really it. So I think in this format, we or I get the opportunity to work together with people that are actually experts in their soil environment, but then as a bit of the expert in, or the all-rounder of the group, I can get the opportunity to just connect to people a bit and get to understand them a bit more than they already do. So that's the fun of it for me in here.
Brilliant, that's great to hear. And finally, just a quick thing about yourself. Any hobbies? Anything you like to do?
Yeah, I also run actually.
Awesome. Lots of runners.
Yeah, and it might be ironic, but I like to run more on the tracks and on the trails, so it's the mud and the soil still there in my hobby that comes back.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much again for talking to us. Thank you. And that's it for me for now, but we'll be back soon with another interview, so stay tuned. And welcome back again. I have 3 more interviewees here waiting to share some of their thoughts with you, so I won't take too long. We'll get started. First, we have Victor. Victor,
hello.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Very nice being here. Like, love the country so far. Love the competition. Really nice to be here.
That's really, really great to hear. We're really happy to have you. And Victor is working on the mission of restoring our oceans and waters.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Victor, if you could please just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I'm from Macedonia, and although currently I'm studying in Germany, and I started off with things like computer science and modeling, so I have this more mathematical background, but then last year I decided that I want to sort of help use this background to save the world. So I started studying ecosystem sciences, and that what sort of led me being here into, try to restore the oceans.
Yeah, brilliant. And so what are you, so as you said, that's why you kind of applied to this, to help. And so what are you really hoping then that you can achieve through this project?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping for a lot. So on one sense, I didn't even know what to expect before coming here, but now, like, brainstorming the whole day and thinking of ideas, I think we have a good direction that we're going. Hopefully lowering the pollution and microplastics, that's our sort of focus area currently. And yeah, I just hope we can think of something that ideally then can be turned into either a research idea, but also implemented.
Yeah, so really actually making going from idea to actually physical thing, making a difference. Yeah. Amazing. And then when you're not trying to save the world, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Yeah, so lately I don't have that much time, but usually my biggest hobby is mountain biking, but I've also tried to at least do one cool thing a year. So like last year I went diving, before that I went paragliding.
Oh, great.
Which was a little stressful because I have a fear of heights, but actually, if you're like in the sky, you can see everything that's like so small, you don't even feel that you're that high. At least that's how I felt. Yeah.
And what's next? What's the next hobby?
I don't even know.
Something will show up. Yeah. Well, great. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Well.
And best of luck with the rest of the few days.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And next we have then Joris. So Joris, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me as well.
It's my pleasure.
So Joris is working on the mission Climate Neutral and Smart Cities. So can you give us a little bit more about your background, who you are?
So my name is Joris. I'm 31 years old. I'm indeed working on the climate neutral and sustainable cities. I have a background in engineering. I did a PhD in working on batteries for electric vehicles. I have shifted my focus a bit, and I'm now working more into the application of computer vision in, let's say, industrial applications. So I make robots move depending on where the camera sees stuff.
Oh, cool. Okay, very nice. That's a really good explanation as well, how you explained that. Great. And then I'd like to maybe focus a little bit on your project that your group are working on for your mission.
Sure.
Could you tell me a bit more about that?
Yes. So in the framework of our livable city concept that we are trying to develop, we're trying to actually work a little bit on reducing car dependency in city centers.
Okay, great.
So people have a tendency of driving their cars everywhere because there is no good alternatives. Because I mean, if you have a car and you have the option to either take the car or you take the public transport in general is not so good, and it's not a good alternative for people using their cars. So we try to find ways to make it more interesting for people to start using public transport again. Have less cars in the city center, have less tailpipe emissions, have more freedom to move about and walk around. Basically try to emulate what we see in Leiden here in the moment. It's awesome. It's so nice. Yeah. So few cars, so many people on bicycles and walking around. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's definitely nice to see, and something that when I moved here also is kind of a new change for me.
Yes, I was already tempted to move to the Netherlands at some point, and it makes me even more anxious. Probably not going to happen, but still, it's really nice.
And also as well for yourself, what do you like to do outside of work?
So my main, let's say, thing that keeps me busy all the time is I have a little girl. I have a 2-year-old kid.
Oh, lovely.
So that's one of the reasons why I want to also try to act in some ways to have my kid be able to walk around and go to the school and shop all by herself, which is at the moment where I live not possible,
Yeah.
or not yet possible. So that's why also this car dependency thing is so important for me, because it's more cars, more pollution, but also more danger on the road, stuff like this.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing a more personal aspect of why it's so important.
Yeah,
And yeah, really lovely to talk to you. Thank
I'm
you
glad
so
to be here.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks. And finally, we have Muriel. Hi, Muriel.
Hello.
Thank
nice
you
to
also
meet
for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So Muriel is working on the mission of cancer.
Yes, exactly.
Could you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Muriel. I'm French and Dutch, but grew up in Hong Kong, so quite a mixed background. And I have I studied economics and then public health, and did a PhD in health economics. So I was analyzing socioeconomic inequalities in hospital care use using big data.
Okay.
So
Wow. And so that you're in the health then system, you know about it. So what are really your hopes for the future, both for focusing maybe on, because you're focused on the cancer work, on cancer diagnosis and things like this, but also maybe health in general?
Yeah, so I think I really want to push forward for more prevention in health in general, and for cancer, really improve early diagnosis of cancer.
Yes, yeah.
Because it often happens. I mean, a lot of people live with cancer but are not aware of it.
Yeah.
So we're trying to develop a solution for this.
Brilliant. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. I think there's really going to be a lot of great ideas that will spur out of this project.
There's so many ideas that it's difficult to find a single one.
To be like, this is the one I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And what are you most looking forward to out of the next few days?
So I'm really looking forward to learning and exchanging with other participants, creating a network of young scientists for future research projects, for example, or even startup ideas or
exactly.
So it's really being stimulated.
Yeah, great. And even building, as you said, this network of people that maybe in the future with more ideas you can work together again and really work towards benefiting society.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Well, thank you so much for talking.
Thank you.
And I want to wish you and all of our participants a really enjoyable next few days. So thank you very much. And I'll be back soon with some more interviews.
trying to communicate with the deposit, like somewhere that you have to do nothing, like I don't know, in flush waste waters or something like that, if you can detect microbiota markers that are sending something about colorectal cancer or something like that, like doing tests directly on them.
Like herding cats.
Wait, I see you. Oh, he's here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take it?
Yes.
Even if I can take it, and then you took it.
Oh, no. Okay, I can change it if you want.
You can have my hand. Maar nu moet je dus weer naar huis en dan blijven vallen. Heel chill, maar voor de rest, ik heb hier kan je naar het winkelstuur meestal? Ja. Oh, hij komt ook hier. Gaat het dan? Nee, of ik wel benieuwd. Ik weet niet. Iemand zeggen van, dat heeft een ander.
With like testing like the urine and like the water or somehow in the guys in the toilet, it's like it sounds crazy, but like if it really will be possible and like be done, it would be like system points of solving some problem.
Yeah, not even that. I mean, it doesn't have to be the toilet. I was thinking if the main problem is that people doesn't care about it, why don't you bring? That's what I was saying. Like the screening to the people. Like. The screening system doesn't have to be going to the toilet. I don't know what other things could be related to.
Yes, you guys didn't take any break, did you?
No.
Come on.
But now we're doing so
Yeah.
we just give you like quick update.
Yeah.
So everything right now
Yeah, the gamification thing specifically, there's literally doing everything we have commented all over, like the mental health thing, the rewarding thing, everything about it, the monitoring thing.
and also for the templates that are like
Like self-testing things. I have no idea that existed. That existed. No.
Yeah, but I think that what I saw about the gamification at least was not much.
I mean, that's something that's another thing.
There's nothing popular in this Iranian topic.
You start with the blood test and with the results you get. Because now we have your blood test results and now we know your test results. So you still miss a way.
Yeah, even I was thinking about this. I don't know how to make a formulation. Like to have any kind of device, because I was doing research about the early detection thing, and it was like if we cannot detect, if we are not going to detect it with self-home test, why don't we detect that thing I was talking about with waste waters and all of that from communities, buildings or whatever, as they were detected, for example, the COVID. And I don't know if there's a possibility of having any kind of device that can detect any micro building put in the toilets of the workplaces or something like that. For example, like, that is a place that you can control. I don't know if there's a possibility of that.
yeah, it is good. We could be like home, right? It could be like home, something you can buy for yourself.
Pain points for our solution.
Like environment and overnight, I don't know, because at home you can easily turn it down. It's like small.
yeah, I think at home would be better as well because the issue with workplace is that it's an interference.
not that much the elevation. That's an issue of sensibility. There are some research working on making more sensibility so they can collect these types of price. But I don't know how far researchers have gone there. But yeah, it's development.
Okay, guys, let's check out who we are. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do one main research so that I know what is out there. You check the links you sent, and I'll join you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to EU TalentOn TV. I am back again with some more participants, so let's get to know them. First, we have Lisa.
Yes, hello.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting.
And you are working on the mission of adaptation to climate change.
Correct. Yes.
So could you please, first of all, tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, with a pleasure. I came from Russia originally and living in Germany since 2016 and working in the field of adaptation of climate change with in the field of urban green infrastructure. So how to bring nature back to the city, and that's how we can help to adapt.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. And so focusing then a little bit more on cities. I know that you're focused on the adaptation to climate change thing, but we talked a little bit earlier about how it's very much obviously linked with climate change and smart cities. So what is the biggest problem with current cities at the moment?
I have a feeling that we all feel the last couple of years, and especially this summer, that was a lot of heat waves. I think you can feel it.
Yes, it was very hot.
Yeah, but the other thing that a lot of people know and feel that, but they don't know how to react on that. So what can we do, basically, like as citizens, in order to help me, or for you, to cope with this? So, I think the knowledge, it's a big lack in this.
Yes, yeah. And that actually brings me to my next question, which is disseminating knowledge and talking to people. I know that you did a TED Talk before.
Yes. It was an experience.
Yeah, how was that? And also, how was it? And then also, how do we go about then sharing these ideas? Is it through these talks? Is there another way to do it? Let me know.
It was very stressful, I have to say.
Yeah.
But it was also a very good experience. And I do believe that scientists specifically should find a very easy way to say what their knowledge about to the public, because it's quite often that their knowledge that they invest, they just stay in the table, or no one really have an access to that, or it's too challenging to understand. So this should be translated in a very easy way that each person had the understanding what does it for him exactly.
Yes.
So I think it's a good way for the science communication.
Great, great. And finally, I'd like to ask you just, what are you hoping to gain from this experience at EU TalentOn?
I would say people. I really like to participate in such kind of programs, because at the end it's all people, around you. Yeah. Because together we can do something and to deal with something. But I think first of all we need to have these strong connections.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you so much.
Great talking
thank
to
you a lot.
And good luck with the rest of the next few days.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now I will invite our next guest, Effa. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me as well.
Thank you.
So Effa is working on the mission adaptation to climate change also.
That is correct.
So can you give me a little bit of background on yourself, what you do?
Yeah. I'm originally from Izmir, Turkey. I studied sociology in my bachelor's, then did a master's in science and technology studies, and now I'm working in the Department of Knowledge Infrastructures. And I am focusing on olives, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I am, my basic question is, how do we know which olive is a good olive, and what sort of production practices are gathered around the good olive, and what sort of political landscapes does this good olive production create and foster, and how we can change them?
Wow, brilliant. Very interesting, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah, really
Thank
interesting.
First person to find it interesting. Thank you.
I think it's very cool. I hope to only have good olives. So,
As you should.
And so, yeah, so I'd actually like to focus a little bit on some things that I have read about you. That I know that you very much find it important to consider the social aspects of ideas when it comes to things like climate change and stuff like that. So I'd like to talk to you a bit, ask you a bit about how can we ensure that the solutions that we're coming up with in terms of climate change are real solutions that actually benefit the public and can be implemented?
Well, we have different ways of valuing what a society must be doing with its collective consciousness. Right now, we have this idea of the gross domestic product, the GDP. So we are trying to find solutions that foster better GDP per capita per year, however you want to slice it. But the world does not have to revolve around GDP. We can evaluate the world differently. We have evaluated the world through GDP, and we can evaluate it through different means just as easily. So then these people here, and it's a very privileged thing to be here, I will tell you, because a lot of people right now are dying because of the climate change adaptations that are not happening. So these people here, I don't think should work on producing solutions that is based around GDP, but producing solutions that are based around actually trying to combat climate change. That is what I mean when I say real. If we produce something that keeps olives alive for 5 more years, it's good, but 5 more years is nothing in the end. We have to stop being tied down by business interests.
Yeah, and really focus on sustainability, this long-term goal.
Exactly.
Yeah, for the Earth, the future. Yeah, really nice insight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Telling me that. And finally, I'd like to ask you a little bit. I know that you recently came to study in the Netherlands, up in Groningen, and I wanted to ask you, how are you enjoying your time here, and how are you enjoying Leiden as well?
Well, I'm originally from a city of over 7 million people,
wow.
And now the town I'm living is 70,000 people.
Yeah.
So the quiet was much expected, and it's quite nice. I can actually focus on stuff without people being all up in my face, which is very, very, very good. Leiden is incredible. I mean, no offense to the Leeuwardeners or Leeuwardenites, I don't know how they're called, but this is an amazing town. Come here. They are paying me to say this.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for talking with me today as
Thank
well.
you.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your time.
I will. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you. And yeah, we'll be back soon with some more interviewees, and I will be coming to find you. So yeah.
For people that don't do particularly cancer research in Leiden, coming up with ideas, like of course whatever you think of is gonna exist. It's fine, let's just find a twist. That's what we're here for. We can still innovate. Yeah, I can download the app and check it out. I will search for everything. I will crush that app.
coming up the idea, choosing something.
I think it would be fair to get some sort of timeline for researchers per year where you like put like how here you decide to actually look at industry, here you decide to get content, if you decide to do that, all of this knowledge goes to all of this data. So like
Ja, ook kijken of het een vak is of het als opening kan ook doen voor de medewerkers bijvoorbeeld.
no, but like even if you publish, but then
Ja, ik daar ook over daar maar daar heb ik nog geen kaart van. Omdat ik eerst meer hou was dat hij meer de bekende gezet wordt. Maar dit is hem eigenlijk. Dus best wel groot.
Okay, but we're trying to shorten
up
time.
Bacteriën, virussen, vaccins, medicatie, technologie en logica, bijvoorbeeld specialisten. Dergelijke. Als je ook ja. Ja, bij ons is het ook.
Has anyone from the company implemented the first user?
Ja. Nee, dat zou leuk zijn. Ja, wij hebben alles wat we met z'n vieren zijn, pas sinds een paar maanden. Want we hebben eerst 4 jaar met z'n tweetjes gedaan. Dus dan moest je en marketing en het creatief ontwikkelen. Ook nog. Ja, dat is maar het is zoveel mensen die erbij komen dat we
Still not our
trap
It's still not the challenge and the rewards and the sharing it with your friends and the progress.
zoals je ook noemde, bureaucratie, aansturen. Ja, ja, inderdaad, de gezonde balans vind ik dat wel heel belangrijk. Maar zo'n talent zoals dit eigenlijk, dat is ook wel een hele leuke bijkomstigheid. We kunnen trouwens nog. Oh ja. Dus dit is, we hebben 5 verschillende arena's. Heel toevallig heet deze uit de arena. Dat is echt gewoon een belangrijk. En op die ruimte waar je ook meteen al die mensen zit. En de Europese Unie die is een groot project gezet door een initiatief van 5 belangrijke missies voor de komende tijd. En een daarvan is kanker. Dus deze 6 groepen hier. De andere 4 missies zijn smart cities en klimaatneutrale steden.
I've seen the screenshots.
Hey,
Yeah.
dan hebben we nog 2.
Yeah.
We werken op dit moment heel erg te
Yeah, but what? I mean, it addresses a lot of things that we talked about. Psychological attention, the rewarding, the reminders for medication. It's a lot of things.
Maybe it's not addressing our ultimate goal.
Experience dat er dus ook heel veel experts waarmee we communiceren over dingen.
Yeah, actually it's for people that already have cancer. Cancer for monitoring cancer patients. The target is completely different, but the mechanisms are literally the same. Yeah. But that's what Hannah said, is that innovative, like just changing the population that we are targeting. That's the only innovative thing about doing all this stuff.
Just the fact that it's so
more engaged in Star Wars are actually the ones that saw like the trilogy when they were like very young. For example, I remember like I remember being a kid and watching with my family like the trilogy of Star Wars. So that like became something on time because I just had like this memory of a child that they developed. And I noticed that the fan are also like that. They have like this nice memory from releasing the time when they actually released the movie. It was very ahead of the time with all the cinematographic things.
I have a little thing too, like when the first Star Wars movie like it was like the same year the last part of the no.
Seriously? It was until that late.
Yeah.
They were killing people like that. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that.
There's happening here. That's a minute movie, so I think we should ask you.
Good afternoon. We are back again with getting to know a few more participants of this year's EU TalentOn. So I'll jump right into it with our first guest, Lyra. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
You are working on the Restore Our Oceans and Waters mission. So first of all, I'd like to ask you to maybe give you a bit of introduce yourself a little bit. Tell me a bit about you.
Okay, so as you say, my name is Leiden, and I'm currently a PhD student in the University of the Basque Country. And I have a degree in chemistry and a master's degree in material science. And so I just continue my career in the same place where I did my trainee.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm focusing on the synthesis and characterization of MOF-type materials, which are hybrid inorganic organic compounds. And I actually use them for the remediation of water or maybe air pollution, and also trying to use them on biomedical applications right now.
Okay, great. So this mission really suits you and suits your expertise. But focusing maybe on yourself, why did you decide to apply for the EU TalentOn?
It's actually, I didn't choose it, not directly.
Okay.
So my university sent me an email, but I didn't read it. Yeah, so it was one of my colleagues that coming from the hallway or something, like, hey, lady, have you read the email? I was like, which email? And no. And she was like, I think you really liked it. And so I read it, and she was like, I'm going to apply. It will be amazing if the both of us will we going together or something.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, thrill, yeah, amazing. And so it was about the project, but it was also about the trip with a friend.
Yes, yeah.
And so I did get in, and another two of my friends actually did get in. So So yeah, here we are.
Yeah. Well, I do think, of course the projects are important, but it's all about the experience, right? It's all about the people you meet. We're here to collaborate and make a network, and not only for your professional life, but also maybe your personal life, meet some friends and people that you can talk to later on. So I think it's really nice.
Yeah, it's been amazing, actually.
Great, So you've been enjoying it so far?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
Good. Looking forward to the next few days?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And a bit excited for the presentations?
Excited and a little bit scared about them too. Because there is a lot of talent going on here. And so you are thinking your idea is good, but maybe the other ones are great, And so you are a little bit scared about what it's going to be. But
I'm sure it's brilliant. I'm sure your idea is great, and you gotta believe in it.
Of course, I can do whatever I want.
Exactly. And finally, we spoke a little bit about this before, but can you let me know maybe a bit of your hobbies, what you like to do outside of science?
So I like to do a lot of things, actually.
Great.
I love drawing. I've drawn all my life.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I enjoy it, so that's good enough for me. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then when the pandemic ended, I started climbing with some of my friends because we've been locked up in our house for long enough. So we just go into the rocks and, hey, we should try this. And now I'm actually into it a lot.
Really. I think that especially if you have it, if it's a resource available to your local area, very lucky. So you should enjoy.
Thank you.
Great.
I do.
Well, thank you so much for talking. We're really lovely to talk to you, and I hope you enjoy this trip and this experience.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And then I'd like to welcome our next guest, Silas. Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Silas, if you could also, first of all, you are working on the mission of cancer. If you could maybe, first of all, introduce yourself for us and tell people a little bit about you.
All right, thanks. So I'm Silas, and I studied biomedical sciences, and with a specialization in infection and immunity. I just finished my PhD, writing up my thesis as we speak.
Exciting times.
Yeah, exactly, almost there. And my PhD was about the development of a new oncolytic virus. And oncolytic viruses are viruses that specifically kill cancer cells. And they do this by killing the cancer cells directly, but they also stimulate your own immune system which then also starts attacking the cancer again. So it's a form of immunotherapy. And it's been a hell of a journey, but a very nice one.
Great. And actually then again, similar to Leira, it very much fits into your mission. Which is
definitely.
And so I'd be interested then to, is everybody in your group, do they all have the same background within cancer research or immunotherapy, or are there people from other disciplines as well?
So we have a very diverse group, actually. So we have one girl. She is trained as a physicist. But now she's in AI doing stuff, so very different from my expertise. And then the other two girls are also more in the biomedical sciences. One is doing a PhD, and the other just started her master's. So it's quite a diverse group of people, but very nice.
Definitely. And how are you working together? How are you separating the roles? Are you maybe bringing your own experience, but also trying something new? How's it going?
Yeah, so we have just had very intense brainstorm sessions. So in the beginning, we had indeed a bit of a hard time finding common ground because we had quite diverse interests. But in the end, we settled on like two problems, and then eventually, after a while, picked one. But when we started to think about solutions for that specific problem, we actually came up with a lot of nice ideas, and we also all agreed on eventually selecting one of our ideas.
Great.
In the end, we were actually very much in sync. So that was also really nice to experience that.
It's definitely just a process that slowly builds, right?
Exactly.
And also as well, I know that I'm going to ask the hobbies question again because I know that we have two climbers.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so I like indeed climbing and doing sports in general. I also play volleyball, which I also enjoy a lot. And it's just a great way of getting your head out of the research and out of your PhD and just doing something completely different and maybe not using your brain for a bit and really focusing on something else.
Yeah,
so,
and
yeah,
also
it's really
I
nice.
suppose meeting new people from different areas as well.
Yeah, exactly. Being a bit out of your comfort zone maybe as well. So
yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you
really
too.
Enjoyed talking to you. And have a great time here. I wish you the best to your group as well. Hopefully the good synergies continue throughout.
I hope so too.
And yeah, so that's me for now. And we'll be back soon with a few more interviews.
dikes, our natural barriers like the dunes. And that's protecting an area where we still have quite some agriculture. You see the brownish, the yellowish areas are mostly agriculture. And but we also still have quite some nature, and so also the biodiversity is under threat at the moment. And this delta area, you can see that you can see the port of Rotterdam and the city of Rotterdam and the city of The Hague. The white areas are the greenhouses. And yeah, so we have nature areas combined with very high urban pressure, combined with a very large port. And this has, for example, also implications for the air quality. And here you can see an air quality image of Europe and the Netherlands. And every day this image is made to show us how the air quality is. And actually this is an NO2 image by the Sentinel-5B satellite. Yeah, last month we had a lot of problems with the droughts, of course very important in our delta. But on the other hand, we are vulnerable to flooding by the sea, but also flooding uphill by flooding by rivers. So everything comes together in our delta. And yeah, I'm talking about Earth observation and Earth observation satellites. And in Europe, we are making these satellites through European cooperation within the European Space Agency. And actually, the European Space Agency has three big programs. A meteorological program for meteorological satellites, which is an operational program. So this data is, there's always a backup satellite, and one goes down, there will be new satellites to have a continuous flow of data. And for non-meteorological observations, for example on land or on the oceans and on high resolution, we have the so-called Copernicus program. This is the largest operational program funded by the European Union. And we also do scientific research with satellites, and for this we build satellites with a limited time span, and this is done within the scientific program of the ESA satellites. And as you can see, we have many, around 38 satellites now under development and 16 in operation. So there will be more and more detailed information available. I mentioned the Copernicus program. I think that the Copernicus program can give you many good information, and for this it's good to know that these satellites are called Sentinels, Sentinel-1 to Sentinel-6. And these satellites are made in pairs. They are backup satellites, so this is also an operational system. So for example, for Sentinel-1, there's a Sentinel-1A and a 1B, and Sentinel-1C will be launched next year. So we have several satellites, and this whole program will also be continued in the future. So when I have a look on the mission areas coming from the Green Deal, I think we have a correlation or relations with Earth observation data in 4 of the 5 themes, except cancer. Yes, of course, the Earth observation data also has links with health in general. But for the other themes, I will give now a few slides with examples and with links where you can obtain data. So you will see that there is already many data and many services available, but there is still a lot of improvements that can be made. So really have a look at this data and check the links I will give you. Wait, we have to go back. Okay, you're back in the mission areas. Okay, adaptation to climate change. I already mentioned flooding. On the left you see This is really a big, big emergency. And these images can be can give this information within a few days after the event has happened. And for this, there's also an emergency service developed by Copernicus, so-called Copernicus Emergency Service, and there you can find information and services on floods, fires, and droughts. But it's not only Earth observation data. Of course, the observations on the ground are also very important. If you focus on the...
Hello, it's me again. Welcome back to EU TalentOn TV. And I'm here with 3 more guests. We're going to start talking to Salo. Salo, welcome. Hi.
Thank you.
Salo is working on the mission of cancer. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe just telling us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Salo. I live in Amsterdam. I'm 31 years old. Mm-hmm. And I actually recently switched to vaccines. So I'm not a cancer researcher anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I did my PhD at the Netherlands Cancer Institute. And actually quite recently I switched to vaccines. Because I want to learn more about the immune system. But I think it's still very much intertwined, right?
Yes, definitely, definitely. And how has that change been, the change from kind of discipline in a way?
I think it's quite intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked at a department that did tumor immunology, so the immune system and how it sort of functions in a tumor and how you can use it to battle cancer.
Yeah.
So I think the step was not too big, but now switching completely to the immune system and vaccines is really a different world, but very interesting.
Yeah, great. Just all about adaptability, I suppose, but it's also... I'd say that then helps you as well with working on something like this, where you're kind of maybe thrown into working on maybe solutions to a problem that, even though maybe you have research and experience with cancer, maybe you're not so aware of the problem that you're working on. So it's always good to be adaptable as well. So yeah, I'd like to ask you a little bit about what are you most excited about to work kind of in the area of cancer in the TalentOn?
I think it's mostly that you really get out of the lab and you sort of pitch your ideas like in the real world. So I think we just pitched our idea like 2 minutes ago to my former boss, and it got completely shut down.
Oh.
So any ideas you might have are actually in real life are not working. And I think like the EU TalentOn really forces you to talk to people, test your ideas. And and you might be disappointed, but I think your ideas only get sharper when you test them in your life, right? Yeah,
so really you can see the importance of bringing ideas to the people and to different stakeholders, I'm assuming, as well. Great, really great. And what is the thing that you're most looking forward to over the next few days?
I think in particular the pitches of the other mission arenas.
Yes.
So I sort of know, what's going on in the cancer field, and you sort of already heard some ideas from the other groups, but I'm really curious what people that work on climate change or healthy soils, what they come up with, kind of, the ideas they come up with, because I'm really not into the topic, but nonetheless very interested, right, in what they think of.
Yeah, great. That's perfect. Thank you so much for talking to me. And it's really great that you're so interested in the other areas too. I think that's a really important part of the EU TalentOn, is that we're here to learn and share ideas. So I wish you the best of luck for the next few days.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll have Brigitte. Welcome, Brigitte. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
So you're working on the mission area of restoring our oceans and waters.
Yes, that's absolutely right.
Great. So if you wouldn't mind telling us a little bit about yourself.
So yes, absolutely right. My name is Brigitte. I'm coming from Riga, Latvia. I'm a researcher, and I'm focusing more on wastewater treatment.
Okay.
In my PhD, I investigated how to use filamentous fungi for wastewater treatment from pharmaceutical substances. But when I defend my thesis, I had a feeling that I need to take a break from the fungi. And now I'm more focusing on wastewater-based epidemiology.
Okay.
So, and I hope that this knowledge, what I have observed during my research, I will be able to use here in this event.
Yeah, great.
Yes.
And I know that you're also interested in activities maybe related to public education and information dissemination and kind of outreach. Is that correct?
It's a sense of that I'm also giving interview as today about
Exactly,
making
yeah.
awareness of the science, how it's important.
Yeah.
So usually if I have some opportunity to spread my knowledge, my thoughts about how important is the science, I usually do that.
Yeah, and why do you think it's important to kind of share these ideas?
I can give just one example. I think it's really important for young generation, for young girls and also boys, to show that the science and academia is open for
Yes.
everyone, and
Yeah.
there's the future in terms to make a great career. And I'm giving my examples how I have done my journey so far.
Yeah, so to almost provide like a source of inspiration, hopefully,
Yes,
to people as
indeed.
well. Great.
Yeah.
And finally, I just want to ask, when you're not doing your work or your research, what do you like to do? Do you have any hobbies outside of science?
Outside of science, I really love to go to theater.
Oh,
in
great.
Latvia, we have
Okay.
really historical background, so I
Yeah.
really love that. And also, I have a hobby to traveling and go to the zoos, and especially looking for the pandas.
Oh, nice.
So I'm a fan of pandas, and I have traveled around Europe to see the pandas. It's
Yeah.
not everywhere. You have to Google to find
Yeah.
in which specific zoos you can see them, but
Great.
that's one thing what I'm doing.
I really like the fact that you focus specifically on the pandas.
Yes, yes.
Sure, that you might as well. And what's the best zoo where you've seen the pandas? Do you
So
have one?
far, I would recommend, but of course it depends on the taste, but I really love in Belgium,
Okay.
Paradise Zoo.
Okay, well, there we go, guys. If you want to go see
Yes.
the pandas, go to Belgium.
That's the best one.
Okay, thank you so much, Brigitte,
Thank
for
you.
joining me. And next, then we have Long. Welcome, Long.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. So you are working on the mission of climate neutral and smart cities.
Yes, that's correct.
Great. And could you give me a little bit of background info on you, who you are, what you do?
Well, so first of all, I'm also a researcher, but I'm actually like both in the industry and the research at the same time. So I'm doing postdoc research in University of Helsinki, and my project is mostly about a company. So I'm doing R&D research for the company, but using the facility from the university. So I kind of have both positions.
Yeah, kind of best of both worlds in
Yes,
a way.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And how
that's
do you,
true.
How do you find that kind of balance between, I suppose, you're now then at the intersection between industry and academia and kind of sharing the knowledge. So how important do you think it is for that knowledge sharing to take place, not only with stakeholders there, but also maybe external, like the public or policymakers?
Yes, I think from the very beginning when I decided to pursue my PhD degree, actually I do have this idea that what I've learned should be like contributing to the society and like more practical, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I studied about green roofs and green walls, how to implement green roofs and green walls and make them very functional and growing good. And now I was like in this I'm in this company who is this kind of greenery research greenery service like firm that we're looking at how to use green walls to manage stormwater. That's our
Really
present
great, yeah.
project, and it's ongoing. And the next step would be how this green wall, green roof could mitigate heat island effect. So we're heading to that direction.
Brilliant.
And the things that the people, I mean the academia from the university, they actually are interested in that as well. So that's why they supported this kind of a joint program that I could contribute both to the university and as well as to the company and also to the people, to the consumers who are buying those products from the company.
Yeah, really great. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing,
Thanks.
sharing about your work. And finally, just before you go, I'd like to ask, how has your experience at the TalentOn been so far? How are you enjoying it?
It's quite intensive, I have to say. But I think it's a good thing that we push people to the limits that, you know, when there's a collision between people and minds, and, you know, there would be always like conflicts and compromises, but you can actually learn from people who have similar mind and who are also like really motivated like you did, like everyone else, and then they're having this goal to win, not only to win but also to prove the others that their ideas are like really practical and useful, and that's very important.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Like friendly competition, the importance of their friendly competition.
Yeah, it's acknowledgement and recognize.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing
Thank
your
you,
thoughts.
thank you very much.
And enjoy the rest of your time here.
Yes, you too, and the
Thanks.
other people as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's us for now. We'll be back soon with some more interviews.
They have a multilingual platform, both in Dutch and in English. And many Copernicus datasets are available, and also many background information. And you can even use for free their virtual machines to do cloud processing. And for this, I would like to conclude my very short, very quick overview of Earth observation in relation to the missions.
My mic is working again. Could you stop sharing your slides? So
yes.
We have a little bit of time for questions. A little bit of time, because we're out of time a little bit. Does anyone have a question for you? It's a little silent in the room. No questions from the audience? You gave a lot of good information, I think. Yeah. What we'll do, I think, if there are really no... a question, okay. Can you hear me now, Raymond?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. So you said that there are satellite images since like 1977. Are those historic images also available on the websites that you mentioned, or is there a separate place we can find the old comparison point?
Yes, they are available, and I think the best website you can visit them is the ESA Climate Change Initiative, because that is the big project where they glued together all the data sets since they were available, and these data sets are also partly available in the Copernicus Climate Service. And yeah, it's interesting to know this. I only presented now the ESA, the European data sets, and of course the Americans, for example, through NASA, there are also many data sets. And for the land data sets, there's a very famous data set of the Landsat the community, and the Landsat satellite is still available, but the Sentinel-2 satellite of ESA does the same, so they combine each other. And in the Google Earth engine, they are all available.
Yes, thank you. I think my microphone ran out of battery. Can you hear me like this?
Yeah, I can also hear you like this.
Great, that's great. Okay, so what is your question?
My question is whether there's any way to use the data to assess areas where soil is contaminated.
Is there any way to use the data to assess if there are areas where soil is contaminated?
Like heavy metals or
There is any data, but not really operational. For this, you need so-called hyperspectral data, and we are now currently working to have a hyperspectral Sentinel satellite. This is not ready yet. This will be ready in around 5 years. But there are two missions, one in Germany, which is called the so-called NMAP mission, and in Italy, the Prisma mission, and then they provide hyperspectral images. And with these images, there are possibilities to have this really good spectral information on for example, the soil contamination.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeroen. So we will share your slides with everyone, and I believe you're also an expert that can be contacted, right? If things and questions.
Yes, I can be contacted, but only up to 9 o'clock today. But today my colleague Robert Koop is available for the questions. And I think or you already have shared his details, but otherwise you can share them now.
Yeah, we have shared those details. So it seems if you want to still send some questions, absolutely manage those details. I want to thank you lots for this presentation. And is there anything else you'd like to add?
If you are inspired and even after the TalentOn, we are also happy to receive your feedback and your questions even after the hackathon or the TalentOn.
That's good to hear. And you might receive some questions later.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for the presentation and have a good evening.
Okay, thank you, and also have a good evening. Goodbye.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I have a very special guest with me right now. This is Rick. Rick has been flown in especially to be here with us today, and he's going to explain to you why. So, Rick, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about why you're here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. My name is Rick Overkleefst. I'm the CEO for Medbox. Dennis, one of the missionaries, if I'm correct, he called me up, asked me like, hey, could my team ask you a couple of questions because I think you are an expert in your field. And I was like, thank you calling me an expert, but I live close by, so why don't I just drop by? So that's what I did. So I came by to talk to the team.
Great, great. And have you spoken to them yet, or are you still waiting?
Yeah, so I have spoken to them. They're in the cancer group.
Yeah.
And it was a great conversation. Yeah,
really good.
sure.
Yeah, I'd say some nice ideas and some good questions.
Yes, for sure.
Great,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your what you actually do for your work? And
yeah, for sure. Okay, so what we do is we help people become owner of their own data.
Okay.
In a general sense, but I specifically focus with Informatbox on the medical side of it. So we help them also not just be owner of that data, but also to understand that data and also help professionals to use that data to, for example, prescribe the right medication or researchers to be able to get that data and then use that for research, but only if the person gives an informed consent.
Okay, great, yeah. And how did you get into this this area?
Well, that's a very long conversation.
Can you give me a short version?
Yeah, I'll just do a short one.
Yeah.
So this kind of happened 6 or 7 years ago. I'm a bioinformatician by trade, so I understand biology and I understand data science, and I bring these two things together. And we heard the GDPR coming up in 2016, and we're like, oh my God, how is this going to happen for rare disease research? Because I did stuff in rare disease. Because sometimes within rare disease, you only have 4 people within a certain country that have the disease. We had this same example, and only one was a woman. So it's kind of easy to understand who you're talking about and which data you have. So in that sense, we started thinking, if we need to respect the privacy, how do we do that if we do research in rare disease? And if you're a company doing, for example, trying to find a medication for a rare disease. So we said, you shouldn't have that data at all.
Yeah.
Maybe just turn it around. No data at the company level, all the data at the personal level.
Yeah, great.
And just request data and talk to each other, because that's what it's about, right?
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing that you saw the problem that was there and you literally just turned it on its head and switched it and gave more power to the people.
Yes, indeed,
in a way,
indeed.
but then also helped with definitely, because those people, of course, need the research to happen. So really amazing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Great. Well, it was great talking to you. And I think maybe other groups now can see that talking to the experts as well is a great idea. So make sure you reach out to some people and ask some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Capitalism is now.
I mean, that's essentially what I'm going to
Hadden ze dat iets anders kunnen noemen, denk je, dan de kankerzaal?
Ik weet het niet.
Ik vond het gewoon geen denderende marketing.
Waarschijnlijk hebben ze het echt hun best gedaan om dat van te maken.
Ja, we zaten naar die titels te kijken en alles is meerdere woorden en een soort actie erin. En dan de kankerkamer.
Nee, daar is niks voor. Je moest inderdaad gewoon wachten tot er iemand is die het biertje wil, maar ze zijn de camera's nu over het algemeen.
Ja, en ook een beetje...
Of ze willen niet weg van de plek.
Ik wou net zeggen, ze zijn meer geïrriteerd dat het tijd kost. En je ziet de teamgroepjes ook echt... Oh, ga je een interview doen?
Ja, alles bij elkaar.
Nou, ze hadden misschien even gebriefd moeten worden dat er ook een klein beetje tijd verloren zou gaan daaraan.
Dat vind ik ook.
Dan was het iets meer een acceptatie geweest.
Ja, nee, maar ik zie dat wij nu live zijn nou.
Je kent zo'n mensen, je kent het pand, het al. Kan je het uitleggen, kan je laten zien. Ja, nou, ik heb zo snel een plekje hierboven. Dus 2 van de missionaries moeten maar blijven staan. Maar die pand is ook heel gezellig van en er is toch gewoon een borrel waar ik altijd mee ga. Ja, dus die jongen die ook net iets kwam vragen, wil je gewoon naar de borrel? Dat is gewoon naar de borrel. Ik ben er ook een Guys, do you still have some energy left? Yeah? Okay, good, good, good.
Fiscal. You are?
Can I then ask a follow-up? Which direction, because there's like 6 different topics that... Five? You're very well informed.
I am.
5 topics. And which topics are you guys? Cancer? Water? As much as yeah, we were already expecting like this. Be more interested in physical solutions.
Awesome.
Even though the cancer one, I'm quite, well actually we work with the hospital. Uses 3D printers in their cancer.
Okay, then maybe I have one question to maybe one of you. Who can show me where I can actually find a 3D printer in this building? Have you used it already?
No, I think that's so long.
Okay. I'll find it. Don't worry.
helps also because consultancy. Yeah, no, exactly. That they can valorize what we do, they want to provide. We have to make it clear in one minute. It's gonna be hard. Not too much, but I think you can convey the value. In 1 minute, it's going to be difficult to convey how it's going to be impactful. And there you just need plenty of applause.
I think
You can go without a shirt.
without a shirt.
Yeah, because we need applauses. That's just because it's applause.
It's just a verbal. Yeah.
Really?
You can still do the no, I think it's really funny.
Like, please.
Yeah, no. Well, no, sometimes Stephanie, take a risk, think outside the box. I think it's funny if the crowd is laughing and they're they'll do a penalty. No. Also because it's a public
Because
it's a public job, not organized. Hey, and I think they're gonna do it on the biggest plus, so it might actually help you guys. No, because they're doing it with like a decibel meter. So which pitch gets a lot of applause, then is written. Okay. So you have to kind of like make sure you let the person not necessarily like, or I will pull up. Get the people pitching for fun. Doesn't necessarily have to be sing. Oh, yeah, but you got it, right? So think about that. Even if it's like everybody has to talk, right? Yeah, I think so, yeah. But for tomorrow, just think about who's going to make the audience clap. Who's funny? We have next year, like, tomorrow we're going to do a speech, and then we will try, every one of us will try, and then the other phase, maybe I go to you. Oh, that's actually really nice. We should also practice there. It's there. Yeah, cool. Maybe there are also some people who just don't want to, right? Exactly. Yeah, that's also fine. But maybe they underestimate themselves.
So for example, materials marketplace is membership-based system.
Think about the current technology development trends. Think about like creating information is the most important part of the process. It's already
No,
And welcome back, everybody, to the EU TalentOn TV. I have 3 more guests to chat to. First, we are joined with Svilen. Svilen, welcome.
Thank you.
You are working on the mission of adaptation to climate change.
That's right.
So first, would you please introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Yes, I'm Svilen. I'm coming from Bulgaria. I'm originally from Sofia. I have a PhD in economics and finance. So I try to bring a different perspective with my background here. So I hope that we'll manage to figure out what will be the mission of our team.
Yes.
And then contribute to the overall mission
Yeah.
to adaptation of the climate change.
So you're still working a little bit on finalizing the mission of your group?
Yeah, we're still defining the problem, and then we'll try to search more concrete answers and how we could manage our problem. I mean, it's difficult, but
Yeah,
we
of
try
course.
to manage it for the short time being here.
Yeah, and yeah, of course, you already kind of mentioned that you're bringing a new perspective, because most people here, a lot of people anyway, are mainly from a more scientific, natural sciences background, whereas it's, of course, very important to bring in the financial aspect as well. So what do you think is the importance of integrating finance and financial perspectives into climate change solutions and policies?
Overall, there is a debate where the financing should come from. So, for example, there are a lot of funds on government financing, but I have a perspective in terms of banking, how the banks should participate or not, or how they contribute to the sustainable finance as well. But in terms of, for example, our idea with the team, we should think about, or at least we're thinking about an app or a project or a service, which we have to figure it out how to deliver to the market.
Of course.
So I'll try to do my best to provide a perspective, who will be the customers, how to provide the idea, and if we try to evaluate what will be the cost to supply the idea or the app or the service, whatever, what will be the revenues. So we have to sum up and make, for example, cost-benefit analysis, if this is sufficient to be put on the market.
Yeah.
For example, I think that maybe this will be one of the areas I think that I might help. And if we search what is the, for example, the overall benefits of the idea and how this will contribute to the adaptation, so it will be a more hard work to do, but we're towards it. So.
Yeah, great. I think it's a really great to have a different perspective. And very briefly, just at the end, I know that you also have worked on your own TV show. So if you could very briefly kind of maybe talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, it was on the Bloomberg television in Bulgaria. I hosted a TV show in economics and finance. So we talked with my guests with topics in economics, finance, capital markets, all the trends which were related to stocks and so whatever economic and macroeconomic developments, monetary policy of the central banks.
Yeah.
This is my PhD thesis. So it was really quite fun and a lot of experience that I learned to analyze data and provide it more, I'd say, on a basic level language for the audience. So this is quite an experience. That
what a great experience. Yeah, and you should be interviewing me, I think.
We can figure it out. We can figure it out.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me and chatting to me today. Really enjoyed talking to you, and enjoy the rest of your time here.
Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. And then we'll move to our next guest, Emily. Yes. Thank you. Hi, Emily.
Hi.
Thank you for joining. So you are working on the mission Restore Our Oceans and Waters.
Yes, I am.
So if you could maybe give me a little bit of information about your background.
I study marine biology at Stockholm University, and I'm currently doing my last year of my master's.
Okay, great. Almost done.
Almost done. Well, you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens afterwards.
Another 4 years,
Could be.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Great. And I know that you're quite active in something called Nordic Ocean Watch in Sweden. Could you maybe speak a little bit about that, the work that you do for that group?
Yeah, so I'm mostly coordinating beach cleanups, but also their social media channels.
Great.
Which gives me a platform where I can communicate these issues that we are facing and experiencing along the coastlines in Sweden, but I mean, all over Europe, really.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So it's really interesting to get to talk to a different audience than what you're used to in, like at uni and academia, where people are pretty, like they have a base knowledge.
Yes, yeah.
Whereas people here more care about the environment, but might not have the knowledge to actually do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's great to learn how to talk to new people as well, and to I think for your own personal, probably professional gain, but also for other on larger scales, it's a big important thing to be able to talk to people and to share. And what kind of challenges have you faced with sort of this kind of creating content and things like this? Do you find it difficult to maybe communicate certain topics, or making things with less jargon, or is there any big challenges that you face with this?
I would say a big challenge is the people that we're communicating to already have an interest and are already engaging in these issues. So it's difficult to address the other ones and try to reach those people that might not be that interested but are still affected by these issues. Because I mean, we all are.
Yes, definitely.
So that's definitely
something to walk towards if possible. Yeah. I know myself, I'm a science communicator, and it's definitely something that we work hard to try and do to reach audiences that maybe we wouldn't usually reach.
Yeah.
And then finally as well, just lastly, I'd like to ask, how is it going with your project? How's the working going for your current mission?
It's going great.
Yeah.
We have identified a problem.
Great.
After having a wall of just like 50 different ones,
yeah.
we've now narrowed it down to one that we're actually happy with, and excited to work more on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for talking to me and sharing a little bit about yourself. And best of luck with the next few days.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next we'll have Joost, finally. Joost, hello.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you for joining. So you are working on the climate neutral and smart cities.
Yes, exactly.
And I think I know a little bit that this area is also a bit related to your own work. So if you could let us know a little bit what you do.
Yes, exactly. I'm educated as an architect, but I switched in my professional career to urban design and planning. Yeah.
Yeah, and why did you make that switch?
I think for me it's more interesting on working on strategic projects. I think the influence of architecture always interested me, and during my studies I kind of found out that what really interested me is how spatial planning influences our lives, but also influences the way we impact the planet, impact social issues, things like that. Yeah.
Great. And so I'd also like to focus a little bit on. So you're talking about how what we do really, things with cities and urban planning, how that really does also affect social issues. So I know that you find it important to empower communities also. So what do you think is the importance of working with local communities when you're actually doing this kind of urban design and planning a smart city or a carbon neutral city?
I think for the first part it's getting information to citizens. A lot of citizens are reluctant to developments because they don't know how things impact their lives.
Yeah.
Because it is quite complex to understand, but I think as urban planners we know some techniques to break problems down to something very graspable, very everyday life. But I think the second part and probably the most important part is the sense of ownership. I think to be effective in a development, people should stand behind that idea and have the idea that they like had a say in what's being done, and that they own kind of the project that's developed in their neighborhood.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, this ownership, that they had something to do with it.
Yeah.
They have a stake in it as well, because of course they
Yeah,
do.
exactly. If I think when citizens have the feeling that everything's decided over their head, there's little chance of succeeding in a real development.
Definitely. And then, just to end, do you have any hobbies that you'd like to share, that you like to do when you're not urban planning?
Yeah, I have a few. I go regularly swimming. I like to go for hikes, and I like to build stuff. It's still a little in my blood to be busy with architecture. So if I can, I go help out friends or organizations that are building on stuff in the city.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, it was nice.
Great. And that's us now for a little while. So we'll be back soon with a few more interviews just before dinner. So make sure to stay tuned. Hello, everybody. We're back with a very quick interview session before dinner. First, we are with Linda. Linda, hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
For joining. You are working on the adaptation to climate change missions. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Great. Could you give us a little bit of an introduction of yourself?
Sure, yeah. I'm Linda. Originally I'm from Berlin, Germany, and that's also where I did my bachelor's in psychology. But now I actually live in Leiden, so
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the place well then.
Yeah, I think I was really the person with like the least hassle to get here. So that's quite nice, and I really enjoy doing something else than university and working, like something like this experience in Leiden right now.
Yeah.
And I'm currently in the research master of social and economic psychology at Leiden University.
Okay, great. So a bit of a different area then. Very nice.
Yeah, it's really different. And I was, I just went for it when I applied. I thought, okay, the chance is not that big, but I'm just going to try because I really wanted to participate. And to my surprise, I got accepted because essentially adapting to climate change requires behavioral change, and then it's good to have a behavioral psychologist. Yeah.
Exactly. I totally agree. And this is the huge thing about this event. It's all about interdisciplinary work and mixing with different groups of people. And actually that leads to my question of how are you bringing your knowledge of psychology to your group, and how are you intertwining it with the other members of the team?
Okay, that's a good question, because we're currently still, I would say, in the like storming phase of the group process. So right now we're actually working towards a concrete product that I think we'll all be happy with in the end. And that's really where I feel like I will then really be able to apply psychological expertise, because right now when we've decided on the content, for example, the PhD students of environmental sciences could contribute a little more, but then I see myself really in the how part.
Yes.
So like, how do we actually do things? How do we go about it? How do we engage citizens effectively? How do we frame things? That's my area.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And also, I wanted to ask you, as you said earlier, you kind of went for it. You saw this opportunity. You went, why did you go for it? Why did you decide that this was something you wanted to do?
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, I agree, exactly.
I read through the concept, and I just thought it was great. I mean, you already said it's so interdisciplinary. In my team, we're 4 people from 4 different countries, coming from 4 different backgrounds. I've never worked in a team that is that interdisciplinary. I've kind of done the bridging between business and economics and psychology here and there, but this is totally different. And that's why I thought, okay, it's a learning experience that I just haven't gotten so far and probably won't get that quickly again. So
Great. And finally, are you enjoying it so far? Are you having a nice time?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, we learned about the trajectory of enjoyment, I think, that they proposed in design thinking.
Yeah.
We definitely went through the valley today, just because it was a tough process to decide on something. But right now we're really coming out on top again.
So brilliant.
And also taking a little walk also helped.
Exactly. Clear the mind.
Yeah. 100%.
Great. Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we'll move on to the next interviewee, Mohammed Reza. Welcome.
Hi. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming to chat with me for a bit. So you were working on the Restore Our Oceans and Water mission.
That one.
Could you give me a little bit of an intro into who you are, what you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm coming from a biology background, and also I've some interdisciplinary experiences working in an innovation center.
Okay.
So I was already a bit more familiar with all these innovation processes and this design thinking, which I really love to apply it in different approaches and projects. And that's why I thought that maybe I could be useful in joining this team in an interdisciplinary kind of work that I can bring my previous experiences. And I was also actually interested in blue bioeconomy, which is more about developing sustainable businesses related to marine sciences.
Yes.
So these experiences all together makes me more into and more passionate to just apply for this. And now I'm here, and
now you're here.
It's amazing.
Yeah, you're enjoying it so far?
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, you may never have this kind of opportunity to work in a diverse and this much interdisciplinary atmosphere. So and networking, which I think is the best part of this whole event. So you have the opportunity to meet with all those different people coming from 34 countries, I guess.
Yeah.
That's huge. So apart from all the things going on, this networking, at least for me, is the basis. And diversity and interdisciplinarity is the fundamental basis of innovation.
Yes.
So that's why. Yeah.
And I know that, you mentioned that you do have experience. I actually know that you have experience because I have a little bio here, and I know that you actually have worked to help startups to develop. And so how did you get into that area, and how has it kind of helped your own personal growth within then your area of biology?
Yeah, I was doing a pure scientific master maybe 4 years ago in biotechnology. And then I was applied for a scholarship to study bio-entrepreneurship and business at Copenhagen Business School, which totally changed my perspectives. So it helps me to develop this entrepreneurial mindset. So then when I finished that course at Denmark, I had this job offer at this private company, which was a venture capital and innovation center. So there I have different tasks and responsibilities to also to both help fresh graduates from life sciences develop their ideas and build new businesses from scratch, and also promote entrepreneurial mindset. So I worked there for 2.5 years, and then I started to actually follow my own dreams more into this restoring the ocean thing.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you so much for sharing. And finally, I think just what do you hope for the next few days? What are you really hoping to achieve?
Yeah, actually, because of my background, I really think that I can follow my idea to have my own startup. So maybe, I'm really stick to that. And the best thing is I can do this with my own team here, so we know each other now. And then if we have the opportunity and the possibility to follow on after this event. So I think that's one of the main reasons of such a hackathon thing,
Brilliant.
And so, I'm hoping for this. Let's see. Fingers crossed.
I wish you the best for that.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck. Fingers crossed for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. And again, I wish you the best over the next few days.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that will be us for a little while. Go and enjoy your dinner, everybody. And we'll see you soon.